The man froze, his umbrella tipping sideways as water cascaded down his face like tears he hadn't shed in years. In that moment, under the relentless Pacific Northwest downpour, Harlan Reeves, 42, architect of glass towers that pierced the sky, felt his carefully constructed world crack open. And Silas, with his haunted green eyes and voice like shattered glass, tumbled right in. Harlan had been walking home from another late night at the firm, the kind where blueprints blurred into bourbon to drown out the echo of an empty penthouse. Seattle's fog clung to him like an old lover's grudge, but tonight it carried something sharper: purpose. He'd seen the kid before, flashes of a lean figure darting through Pike Place Market, scavenging for half-eaten sandwiches or dodging the cops who patrolled Pioneer Square. But up close, Silas was a gut punch. Filthy jeans torn at the knees, a hoodie 2 sizes too big swallowing his frame, and those eyes, God, those eyes, begging without begging, fierce as a cornered wolf. You'll pay, Harlan echoed, his voice rougher than he intended, laced with the scotch still warming his veins. He crouched down, ignoring the puddles soaking his Italian loafers, and met Silas's gaze. The boy flinched but held steady, chin jutting out in that stubborn way kids do when the world's already beaten them half to death. Yeah, Silas said, swallowing hard, rain mixing with the grime on his face. I'm good for it. Just need bus fare. Or food. Whatever. Mom's sick, back in Tacoma. I send what I can. It was a lie, pieced together from fragments of other street kids' stories, but it tumbled out smooth, practiced. Harlan didn't know that yet. Harlan's hand trembled as he pressed the 20 into Silas's palm, their fingers brushing, cold skin on warm, calluses against silk. A spark, electric and forbidden, shot up his arm. He hadn't touched anyone like this in months. Not since the breakup with Derek, the graphic designer who'd called him too safe before packing his vinyl collection and ghosting into Portland. Harlan pulled back, heart hammering. Take it. And here. He dug into his wallet, adding a 50. Get a room at the hostel on 2nd. Dry off. Silas stared at the bills, then up at Harlan, suspicion warring with something softer, hungrier. Gratitude? No, deeper. A flicker of trust, rare as a clear day in November. Why? He asked, voice barely above the patter of rain. Harlan stood, water dripping from his coat like accusations. Because I've got too much. And you've got none. He turned to go, but Silas's hand shot out, grabbing his sleeve. Wait. Name's Silas. Silas Kane. The words hung there, an offering, a hook. Harlan, he replied, softer than he meant. Harlan Reeves. And just like that, in the shadow of a forgotten alley, 2 lives tangled, strings of fate pulling taut against the storm. Harlan didn't sleep that night. He paced his loft in Belltown, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the glittering Space Needle like a distant dream. The place was all sharp lines and minimalist chic. White leather sectional, abstract prints from his last gallery crawl, a kitchen island where meals for one went cold. But tonight, it felt like a cage. Silas's face haunted him. Those green eyes, the way his lips had quivered around Sir. Harlan poured another scotch, neat, and sank onto the couch, phone in hand. He shouldn't. He knew better. At 42, he was the guy who donated to shelters on tax day, not the one who picked up strays. But his thumbs flew anyway. Hostel on 2nd. Room 12. Key under mat if you need it. He hit send to a burner number he'd slipped Silas with the cash, then regretted it instantly. What the hell was he doing? Inviting a kid, a homeless kid, into his orbit? Seattle's underbelly was full of stories like this. Good intentions curdling into tabloid fodder. But the message whooshed away, and Harlan drained his glass, chasing the burn. By dawn, his buzzer rang. Harlan jolted awake, head pounding, and buzzed the intercom without thinking. The elevator hummed up to the 15th floor, and there was Silas, dripping wet again, but cleaner, his hair combed back with hostile shampoo, wearing borrowed sweats that drowned him. Couldn't sleep, Silas muttered, eyes downcast. Thought, maybe breakfast. Harlan stepped aside, the door clicking shut behind them like a seal on a pact. The loft smelled of coffee and possibility. He busied himself at the espresso machine, his one indulgence, a La Marzocco that hissed like a contented cat, while Silas perched on a bar stool, fingers tracing the marble countertop like it might vanish. Nice place, the boy said, voice small. You build it. Designed the building, yeah. Harlan slid over a steaming mug and a plate of scrambled eggs from the fridge, leftover from a client brunch. Freelance architect. Towers, mostly. The kind that make you feel small. Silas shoveled in the food, manners be damned, but his eyes never left Harlan's face. Small's all I know. Couches in youth shelters. Cardboard under the viaduct. This, he gestured vaguely, feels like a museum. They talked then, halting at first. Harlan about blueprints and deadlines, Silas spinning tales of Tacoma High School dropout, a mom with the cancer that ate their savings. Lies woven with half-truths. Silas was from nowhere, really. Foster kid bounced from Spokane to Olympia, out at 14 after a stepdad's fist found his jaw one too many times. But he didn't say that. Not yet. By noon, Harlan had canceled a site visit, and Silas had showered. Emerging in Harlan's old college tee, sleeves rolled up, the fabric clinging to his damp skin in ways that made Harlan's throat dry. They walked to the market, Harlan's credit card buying salmon jerky and fresh cider, Silas laughing for the first time. A bright, broken sound that echoed off the stalls. Never had this, he said, biting into an apple, juice dribbling down his chin. Harlan wiped it away with his thumb, lingering a second too long. Silas stilled, breath catching, and the air thickened, charged like the storm front rolling in from the sound. That night, Silas crashed on the couch, Harlan's insistence, with blankets and a pillow that smelled of lavender detergent. Harlan lay in bed, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, listening to the boy's soft snores. It was innocent, he told himself. Charity. But his mind replayed the brush of fingers, the curve of Silas's neck under the faucet. At dawn, he found the kid in the kitchen, rifling through cabinets, not stealing, but curious, like a cat in a new house. Can't sleep? Harlan asked, voice husky from disuse. Silas jumped, a box of cereal tumbling. Sorry, just hungry again. His cheeks flushed, not from embarrassment, but something hotter. Harlan stepped closer, close enough to smell the soap on his skin. Eat what you want. It's yours. Our eyes locked, and Silas's pupils blew wide, a mirror to Harlan's own quickening pulse. The kiss happened fast, Silas leaning in first, tentative, lips soft and tasting of cinnamon. Harlan pulled back, horrified. Jesus, Silas. You're 17. Silas finished, defiant. Old enough. Not for this. Harlan raked a hand through his hair, backing away. But Silas followed, grabbing his shirt, pulling him down into another kiss. Fiercer, tongues clashing like swords. Harlan groaned, hands finding the boy's waist, slim and warm under the tee. It was wrong, every fiber screaming it, but Seattle's gray light forgave sins, and Harlan let himself drown. They tumbled to the couch in a tangle of limbs and whispered apologies, clothes shedding like old skins. Silas was all lean muscle and eager hands, mapping Harlan's body with a reverence that broke him. Fingers tracing scars from a childhood tonsillectomy, lips brushing the tattoo on his hip from a wild Vegas weekend. Harlan moved slow, reverent, teaching with touches and murmurs. Here, like this. God, you're beautiful. Silas arched under him, gasps turning to moans that echoed off the high ceilings, their rhythm building like a crescendo in one of Harlan's designs. Tense, inevitable, shattering. After, they lay spent, Silas's head on Harlan's chest, heartbeat sinking to the rain tapping the windows. Thank you, Silas whispered, not for the release, but for the seeing, for the first time someone looked at him and saw more than a ghost. Harlan held him tighter, ignoring the voice in his head chanting trouble. Stay, he said, as long as you need. And Silas did. Weeks blurred into a rhythm Harlan hadn't known he craved. Mornings, espresso and sketches, Silas doodling on napkins, crude but talented line art of fairies slicing the sound. Afternoons, walks along the waterfront, Harlan pointing out his firm's latest project, the Chihuly Garden glowing like frozen fireworks. Evenings, takeout from Ivor's, bad Netflix rom-coms where Silas mocked the plots but curled closer with every sappy line. Harlan watched Silas bloom, hair trimmed at a Belltown barber, new jeans from Nordstrom rack that fit his hips just right. The boy still carried that edge, vanishing for hours to check on mom, returning with fabricated updates and shadows in his eyes. Harlan didn't push. He was too busy falling, hard and fast. Dinners turned intimate. Candlelight on the island, Harlan's foot hooking Silas's under the table, leading to nights where boundaries dissolved further. Silas on top, confident now, riding the waves of Harlan's gasps. Harlan pinning him gently, whispering endearments that felt like vows. But cracks formed. Harlan's partner at the firm, Marcus, noticed the distraction, late arrivals, sketches half finished. Who's the muse, Reeves? Finally ditching the solo act. Marcus joked over craft beers at Pike Brewing, but his eyes were sharp, appraising. Just helping a friend, Harlan deflected, heat rising. Friend. Lover. What was Silas? The word boyfriend stuck in his throat. Too young, too raw. Then came the call. Harlan's phone buzzed during a client pitch, a Seattle PD number. His stomach dropped. Mr. Reeves? We've got a kid here matching your description. Silas Kane. Wallet had your card. Harlan raced downtown, heart in his throat, to the precinct in Pioneer Square. Silas sat cuffed to a bench, lips split, eyes swelling purple. Fight, he mumbled when Harlan burst in. Some asshole at the arcade thought I was eyeing his girl. The cop uncuffed him with a shrug. Kid's clean, but watch your back. Streets eat boys like him. Harlan bundled Silas into an Uber, silence thick as fog. Back home, he cleaned the wounds with antiseptic, hands shaking. What the hell, Silas? You said you were at the library. Silas winced, pulling away. Needed cash. Quick gig. Lying to cops about me? Using my name. Harlan's voice cracked. What if they'd thought? Thought what? That you're fucking a homeless kid. Silas shot back, green eyes flashing. Yeah, Harlan. That. The air sucked out of the room. Harlan recoiled, the truth a slap. Is that what this is? A meal ticket? Silas's face crumpled. No. God, no. You're the first real thing I've had. He lunged forward, kissing Harlan fiercely, apologies in every press of lips. They made love on the bathroom floor, tiles cold against fevered skin, Silas sobbing into Harlan's neck as release washed away the grime of the day. But doubt seated. Harlan started checking Silas's phone when he slept. Texts from unknown numbers. Need more? Meet at the pier. Paranoia bloomed. Was it drugs? Theft? Harlan buried it, pouring love like concrete over the fissures. Weekend getaway to the San Juans. Ferry rides where Silas leaned over the rail, wind whipping his hair, shouting joys into the salt spray. It was perfect until it wasn't. Harlan's firm landed the bid for the new waterfront pavilion, a glass behemoth curving like a whale's spine, meant to redefine Seattle's skyline. Celebration drinks at the signature room atop the Columbia Center turned into Harlan's confetti moment. Slaps on the back, toasts with Manhattans, Marcus pulling him aside with a grin. Knew you'd nail it. Who's the lucky charm? Saw you texting under the table like a teenager. Harlan flushed, clinking glasses. Just someone special. The words felt right, warm like the bourbon sliding down his throat. Down below, the city pulsed. Ferry horns, neon from Pike Place. Silas waiting at home with that lopsided smile, and takeout pho from the spot on Yesler. But as the elevator descended, his phone buzzed, a photo from an unknown sender. Silas, laughing in a dive bar off First Avenue, arms slung around a rough-looking guy with tattoos snaking up his neck. Caption, your boy's got friends. Careful, daddy. Harlan's blood iced. He hailed a cab, the skyline blurring past like accusations. By the time he stormed into the loft, Silas was sprawled on the couch, controller in hand, pixels exploding on screen. Hey, how'd it go? Silas beamed, pausing the game, but his eyes darted, guilty flicker. Harlan thrust the phone forward. Who the fuck is this? Silas's face drained of color. Just Jax. From the shelter. We grab beers. No big beers. You're 17. Harlan's voice boomed, echoing off the exposed brick. And this? He scrolled to another pic, forwarded from the same number. Silas pocketing a wallet in a crowded arcade, sleight of hand smooth as silk. Silas surged up, snatching the phone. It's not. Fuck, Harlan, it's survival. Jack sets up side hustles. Pickpocketing tourists, nothing big. I send half to mom. Lies. Harlan's chest heaved. You've been lying since day one. The cancer? Tacoma? All bullshit to play me. Tears welled in Silas's eyes, but he didn't deny it. Half bullshit. Mom's real, hooked on pills, not chemo. But you made me want more. Want to be more. He stepped closer, hands fisting Harlan's shirt. Please, don't make me go back. Harlan shoved him away, gentle but firm. I can't. Not like this. The words tasted like ash. He retreated to the bedroom, door locking with a finality that shattered them both. Silas pounded once, twice, then silence, thicker than the rain starting outside. Morning brought regret. Harlan woke to an empty loft, Silas's borrowed clothes folded neat on the couch, A note in loopy scrawl. Sorry I broke us. You're the best thing that happened to a fuck-up like me. Don't look for me. S. Panic clawed Harlan's gut. He called the hostel, the arcade, even Jax's burner, voicemail ghosts. Work blurred. Meetings where his voice droned. Sketches reduced to scribbles. Nights, he wandered Pioneer Square, eyes scanning every shadowed doorway, every kid with a backpack. Seattle felt hostile now, its fog mocking his loss, the space needle a needle in his heart. 2 weeks in, Marcus cornered him in the break room. You're a ghost, man. Spill. Over lukewarm coffee, it poured out. Silas, the alley, the fire that burned too hot, too fast. Marcus listened, brow furrowed, then sighed. Kid sounds like trouble. But you're alive again. First time since Derek. Harlan barked a laugh, bitter. Alive? I'm unraveling. Then find him. Or let go. But don't haunt yourself. The advice stuck, burrowing like damp rot. Harlan hired a PI, discreet, ex-cop type from a firm in Capitol Hill. Kane, Silas. 17. Last seen downtown. Days later, a file dropped. Address in a squat near the tracks, photos of Silas thinner, hollow-eyed, Jax's arm possessive around his shoulders. Harlan drove that night, wipers slapping rhythm against the drizzle. The squat was a warren of graffiti and despair, chain links sagging, windows boarded like blind eyes. He slipped inside, flashlight app cutting shadows, until voices drifted from a back room. Reeves' guys loaded. We hit his place, clean haul. Jax's gravel tone. Silas's voice muffled. No, he's not like that. Come on, pretty boy. You rode that dick for months. Payback. Harlan's blood roared. He burst in, door splintering. Jax lunged, but Harlan, fueled by fury and fear, swung wild, fist connecting with jaw. Silas yelped, scrambling back as they grappled, grunts and thuds filling the fetid air. Jax pinned him, knife glinting, but Silas tackled from behind, screeching, Stop. He's mine. The blade clattered. Harlan surged up, pinning Jax, knee and throat. Touch him again, and you're done. Sirens wailed distant. Someone's 911. Jax spat curses as cuffs clicked, cops swarming like ants. In the aftermath, ambulance lights painting Silas blue, Harlan wrapped him in his coat. Why'd you do it? Silas whispered, stitched lip trembling. After everything. Because I love you, you idiot. The words escaped, raw and true. Silas's eyes widened, then softened, hands squeezing Harlan's. But love wasn't a bomb. Back at the loft, Silas discharged with bruises and warnings. Confrontation loomed. They sat on the balcony, city lights winking below, a bottle of Pinot between them. Truth, Harlan demanded. All of it. Silas exhaled, story unraveling like frayed rope. Orphaned at 10, foster mills grinding him down, outed and outcast at 14. Streets at 15, pickpocketing to eat, Jax's family, a poison apple. Harlan, a fluke, a spark. You saw me, not the dirt. Harlan pulled him close, tears hot. I see you now, but no more lies. We get you help, counseling, GED classes. Real start. Silas nodded, burrowing in. That night, lovemaking was tender, slow explorations, Harlan kissing every scar, Silas whispering, I love you, like a prayer. Dawn found them entwined, Seattle's hum a lullaby. Yet shadows lingered. Marcus's whispers at work, heard about the brawl. Careful, Harlan, stirred unease. Harlan's ex, Derek, emailed from Portland, saw the kid on Insta. Slumming it. Call me if you need sane. Jealousy? Or warning? Worse, Silas's past clawed back. A social worker called, foster records unsealed, a brother in Tacoma, blood tie demanding custody. He's a minor, she said. We can place him stable. Stable meant separation. Harlan fought. Lawyers, petitions, but bureaucracy ground slow. Silas withdrew, nights spent sketching dark whirls, days vanishing to think. What if they take me? He'd murmur, Harlan's reassurances hollow echoes. The breaking point came mid-December, snow dusting the sound like ash. Harlan's holiday party, firm bigwigs in the loft, champagne flutes clinking, turned farce when Silas arrived late, eyes red-rimmed. Saw my brother. He confessed in the kitchen, voice cracking. He wants nothing. Says I'm tainted. Harlan hugged him fierce. You're not. But guests milled, Marcus eyeing them sharp. Later, a tipsy client cornered Harlan. That your nephew? Cute kid. Careful with optics. Optics. The word festered. Harlan lay awake, Silas snoring soft beside him, mind churning. Scandal at the firm, headlines in The Stranger, Architect's boy toy brawl. Love felt like a liability. January brought the storm. Social services raided. Anonymous tip. Jax from jail spilling venom. Cops swarmed the loft. Silas cuffed again. Harlan's pleas ignored. He's safe with me. But papers waived. Unfit environment. Age gap flagged as predatory. In the station, Silas screamed, "You promised," as they dragged him to a van. Harlan lunged, restrained, heart fracturing. "I'll fix this." But fixes cost. Lawyers bled his savings. The firm suspended him pending review. Alone in the loft, Harlan drank, memories mocking. Silas's laugh in the market, body slick under sheets. Derek called, voice smooth, "Come to Portland. Start over." Harlan almost went. Almost. February's chill seeped into Harlan's bones, the loft a mausoleum of ghosts. Silas's sketches littered the coffee table, half-finished fairies, now smudged with fingerprints like tears. Harlan hadn't slept right since the raid, shadows under his eyes matching the bruise of loss. Work was a minefield, Marcus's sidelong glances, clients whispering. Personal matter, Harlan stonewalled, but the suspension lingered, a scarlet letter. He visited Silas weekly, Juvenile Hall in Kent, a gray fortress south of the city. Plexiglass divided them, voices tinny through speakers. Silas looked smaller each time. Buzzed hair, state-issued sweats, green eyes dulled like sea glass. "Miss you," he'd say, palm pressing the barrier. Harlan mirrored it, aching. "Miss you more. Papers are in, emancipation filing. They'll see you're not a kid." But they dragged feet, psych evals, home studies on Harlan's loft, too urban, too exposed. Silas's brother surfaced, a mechanic in Tacoma with a beer gut and grudge. "Kids, always been trouble. Keep him locked." Harlan seethed, driving rain-lashed highways to Tacoma, pounding the duplex door. "He's your blood," the brother sneered through the screen. "Blood?" He chose the streets. "And you? Perv architect playing house. Back off." The slur landed like a gut punch. Harlan drove home raging, swerving through black ice, mind flashing to their first night. Silas's tentative touch, the way he'd bloomed under care. Was it predatory? No, mutual, electric. But doubt nod, fed by Derek's texts, told you. Young ones burn hot, crash hard. Portland's waiting. Harlan ignored them, diving into advocacy. He volunteered at Lambert House, Seattle's LGBTQ youth center, story hours where kids shared scars, art therapy where Silas's style echoed in their strokes. There, he met Elena, a counselor with sharp eyes and sharper advice. Love's not enough. Systems chew queers like you too. Fight smart, build a village. Village. Harlan rallied. Petitions online, stranger op-eds, architect versus the machine, saving my love from the state, even a GoFundMe for legal fees. Strangers donated, queer couples who'd walked similar fires, allies tired of bureaucracy's boot. Marcus thawed, slipping case law under Harlan's door. Not saying I'm on board, but fuck the man. Silas's letters sustained him, smuggled via Elena, pages crammed with doodles and dreams. Us on a beach in Cali, you designing sandcastles, me surfing waves. No cuffs, no lies. Harlan taped them to the fridge, a mosaic of hope. Spring teased with cherry blossoms along the arboretum, but Harlan's world stayed winter. A hearing loomed. Family court in April, judge with a rep for protecting minors. Harlan prepped like a blueprint. Character witnesses, Elena, Marcus, psych reports framing their bond as healing, not harm. The night before, he dreamed of Silas, running through Pike Place, stalls empty, rain turning to blood. Woke sweating, called the hall. "Tell him I love him." The guard grunted assent. Courtroom smelled of polish and despair, fluorescent buzzed like angry bees. Silas sat shackled beside a public defender, suit hanging loose. Harlan's lawyer, a firebrand named Theo from the ACLU, laid it out. Mr. Reeves offers stability, home, education, love. The state? A cell. Prosecution countered. Inappropriate relationship. Minor in peril. Exhibits flashed. Jax's affidavit. Reeves corrupted him. Derek's anonymous email. Harlan's unstable history of failed partnerships. Derek. Betrayal stung fresh. Ex-lover turned saboteur. Jealousy curdling despite. Harlan glared across the aisle, but Derek avoided eyes, slinking out post-testimony. Silas testified last, voice steady despite chains. Harlan saved me. Not just from streets, from myself. Yeah, I lied. But he saw truth anyway. Tears tracked his cheeks. The judge's pen paused. Recess dragged eternal. Harlan paced the hall, Elena squeezing his arm. Kid's a fighter. Like you. Verdict dropped like a gavel's thunder. Emancipation granted, with supervision. Silas was free, conditionally. Harlan hooped, hugging air across the bar, Silas's grin splitting wide as they uncuffed him. Outside, Seattle's sun broke through, rare April gift. They tumbled into the Subaru, Silas shotgun, hand on Harlan's thigh. Home, he breathed. Loft awaited. Balloons from Elena, takeout from Ivers, bed unmade since the raid. Reunion was fire, clothes shed in the elevator, kisses bruising as they fumbled keys. Harlan lifted Silas, legs wrapping waist, carrying him to the bedroom like a vow renewed. They moved urgent, then slow, Harlan tracing new tattoos, a fairy, inked in secret, Silas nipping collarbones, whispering filth and forever. Climax crashed like waves on Alki Beach, leaving them boneless, laughter bubbling in afterglow. But freedom's fine print bit. Monthly check-ins, curfew till 18, therapy mandates. Silas chafed, feels like parole. Harlan soothed with structure. GED enrollment at Seattle Central, part-time barista gig at a queer cafe in Capitol Hill. Mornings, Harlan sketched beside Silas's textbooks. Evenings, walks where they fed ducks in Green Lake, dreams spilling like loose change. Summer hummed, pride blocking downtown, rainbows draping the monorail. They marched hand in hand, Silas's sign, love wins, even in the rain. Harlan proposed casual, a silver band from a market jeweler, engraved pay when you grow up. Silas slipped it on, eyes shining. Paid in full, sir. Yet undercurrents swirled. Derek's shadow, a package arrived, vinyl records returned, note, sorry, was scared you'd find real. Harlan burned it in the sink, ash swirling down drain. Worse, Jax, paroled early, lurking texts, miss me pretty? Tell your sugar daddy hi. Silas blocked, but fear lingered. Nights he'd jolt awake. Harlan holding tight. He's gone. We're not. Harlan's firm reinstated him, pavilion breaking ground with fanfare. Silas attended the ceremony, hard hat crooked, cheering as Harlan ribbon cut. Photos hit the Post-Intelligencer, architect's triumph, and heart. Whispers faded. They were out, proud, unbreakable. Fall brought Silas's birthday. 18, legal, theirs. Party at the loft. Elena DJing indie folk, Marcus grilling salmon, kids from Lambert House toasting with mocktails. Silas, in a button-down Harlan ironed, pulled him to the balcony. You changed everything. Harlan kissed his temple. You changed me. But life, American as apple pie and regret, had one last twist. October's leaves turned the arboretum to fire, but Harlan's world ignited differently. Silas thrived. GED aced. Barista tips funding art supplies. Sketches evolving to digital on Harlan's old tablet. Galleries scouted him at a youth expo. Dreams of RSD murmured over midnight ramen. Harlan watched, chest swelling. This boy, once alley shadow, now light. Yet crack spiderwebbed. Harlan's promotion, partner track, mint travel, site visits to Portland, bids in San Francisco. Silas waved him off. Go build empires. I'll hold the fort. But calls grew sparse. Texts curt. Fine. Busy. Homecoming soured. Harlan arrived from Cali to a loft reeking of weed. Silas's new stress relief, shared with cafe buddies. It's nothing. Silas shrugged, eyes bloodshot. Harlan bit back lectures, opting for closeness. Dinners at Canlis, overlooking the lights, where Silas's laughs rang hollow. November grayed the city, mirroring Harlan's unease. A folder on the counter, RISD application, acceptance letter peeking. You're going? Harlan asked, hope laced with dread. Silas nodded, evasive. Scholarship covers most. East Coast, baby. We. Harlan corrected. We go. But Silas's silence screamed volumes. Fights brewed, petty at first. Harlan's long hours, Silas's late shifts. Escalated to core. You want me leashed here, playing houseboy? Equal, Harlan countered. Partner. Bullshit. You're 43. I'm 18. World's mine. Why chain to Seattle? The words eviscerated. Harlan stormed out, driving to Derek's old haunt in Portland. Neutral ground? No, masochism. Derek met him at a brew pub, looking polished, single. Heard about the kid. Rhode Island. Smart move. Over IPAs, truths spilled. Harlan's fear of alone, Silas's itch for flight. Derek's hand brushed his. You deserve steady. Come back. We were good. Temptation coiled, warm as the bar's glow. Harlan returned dawn weary, Silas asleep, curls fanned on pillow. Guilt choked him. He crawled in, holding tight, but the seed rooted. December holidays loomed. Harlan's family in Chicago, traditional as turkey and tension. Invite extended. Bring Silas. Show him you're happy. Silas demurred. Not ready for the Inquisition. Instead, they strung lights on the balcony. Baked gingerbread. Silas's disasters hilariously lopsided. Fucked by the tree to carols on vinyl. Bliss, fragile as snowflakes. New Year's Eve shattered it. Harlan's phone lit up. Anonymous video. Silas at a Capitol Hill rave. Grinding against a tattooed stranger. Jax? No. Worse, a classmate. Lips locked as confetti fell. Sent from a block number. Your boy's wild. Cut loose. Harlan watched, numb, gut twisting. Betrayal, fresh and flaying. Silas stumbled in at 3 a.m., glitter-dusted, reeking of sweat and synth. Babe? You're up. Harlan thrust the phone. Explain. Silas blanched, replaying. Party. One kiss. Dumb hot. One. Try the whole damn clip. Harlan's voice broke. After everything. Jax, the lies, now this? Silas crumpled. I'm 18. I fuck up. You want perfect? Find a mannequin. I want us. Harlan roared. Not scraps. Words weaponized. Silas hurled Harlan's savior complex. Harlan spat, ungrateful brat. Vase shattered. Porcelain shards like their vows. Silas grabbed his bag. Maybe East Coast's better alone. Door slammed. Harlan sank. Whiskey bottle his only companion. Dawn creeping like regret. Days bled. Silas ghosted. Phone off. Cafe firing him for no-shows. Harlan stalked Riz's site. Deferral notice. Pride deflated. He called Elena. He left. For good. Kid scared, she said. Of losing you. Of being you. Harlan drove the viaduct. Memories assaulting. Alley plea. First kiss. Emancipation tears. At the squat's ruins. Bulldozed for condos. He screamed into wind. Raw as open wound. January thawed secrets. A letter arrived. Silas's scrawl. I'm in Tacoma. Brother's place. Not running. Fixing. That kiss. Mistake. But us. Broken because I am. Therapy's kicking ass. Turns out, streets weren't the only cage. Love you. Grow with me. S. Harlan wept. First real tears since the raid. He drove south, snow dusting the evergreens, heart pounding. Duplex door opened to Silas, clean-shaven, eyes clear, brother hovering awkward behind. Forgive, Silas whispered. Harlan pulled him out, into the yard, kissing fierce under bare oaks. Always, but no more alone. They talked. Hours in a diner, hash browns cooling. Silas's truth, fear of Harlan's world swallowing him, impulse as escape. Harlan's, clinging too tight, Derek's ghost a crutch. Vows renewed, couples therapy, RISD together, Harlan remote designing, no lies. Spring bloomed them. Silas deferred again, local community college, art blooming in Seattle's galleries. Harlan proposed proper, knee in green lake sand, ring glinting. Marry me when you're ready. Silas grinned, slipping it on. Ready now, sir. Summer wedding, backyard affair at Elena's. Rain holding off for vows under strung lights. Marcus best man, toasting, to building what lasts. Silas's brother attended, grudging nod turned hug. Years folded. Silas's exhibits in Soto lofts. Harlan's firm greening with sustainable towers. A dog, mutt from the shelter, chased fairies. Talks of kids via surrogacy whispered. Seattle shaped them. Fog lifting to sun, storms yielding rainbows. 1 anniversary. Alley revisit. Now a mural wall, Silas's design. 2 figures entwined, words arched, pay in love. Harlan traced it, Silas's hand in his. Changed my life, he murmured. Silas leaned in. Ours. And in America's relentless churn, betrayals weathered, conflicts forged stronger. They stood unbroken, a testament. Love, human and humane, pays forward forever.